I'm Jennifer Zamparelli, and today on Just Between Us, I'm joined by Danielle and Celeste, founders of Somatica Institute and creators of the Somatica method to explore how to talk dirty. Ladies, you're very welcome.
Thank you so much for having us.
It's great to have you.
Be here.
I'm very, very excited to talk about this because I think, especially being Irish, we find even just talking about sex very, very difficult. Probably why this podcast does so well. So you're very, very welcome, and I'm dying to get stuck in. Before we get into the logistics of sexy linguistics, can you tell me a little bit about your interest in sexuality work and how you both met and how this all started?
Sure. So Danielle was getting her PhD in human sexuality studies, and I was just completing my master's. And we took a training together. It was like a certification training that was part of her PhD, and I just wanted it for my own certification. And we met there. And even though we're the most opposite people on the planet, we have the same ideas about how people are best helped when it comes to having amazing sex and beautiful emotional connection.
So you're both here to teach us how to talk dirty, is that right?
That's correct. We can't wait.
And you can teach anybody to do this?
Yeah, because the method that we created is really founded in the idea, the Somatica method, that, it's not, like you can learn everything when it comes to sex and relationship. And there's actually, we're learning it anyway. So let's learn it. Let's learn to do it in a way that feels right and authentic and seductive and in relationship with a coach that can help you.
Yeah, and you don't want to waste that Irish accent. I once had an Irish lover. He said, "I can't wait to be between your thighs." And I was like, oh my God, that's it right there.
And Danielle, I believe this is your biggest turn on. This really does it for you. Yeah?
Celeste,
Oh, I'm Celeste. Yeah. Oh, yes, to be like desired and wanted. And like, yes, it's very on point.
and the accent did it too, huh?
Oh, the Irish accent, yeah, from your man for sure. I don't know. It's certain parts of the country I like, and certain parts of the country, the accent I can do without. But why bother? I mean, what does talking sexy? What does it actually do for us in the bedroom?
Well, honestly, for me, like talking is so important because like without the talking, it's like almost it lubricates my brain. It keeps me immersed in the situation. It keeps me connected to my partner. That's what will make me come.
Okay, and why do you think so many people struggle with it?
I do think it's the hardest skill. A lot of times people aren't very verbal in bed. They're kind of like focused on sensation or other things. And so to actually bring talking in can sometimes take people out of the moment. You have to get used to it.
Okay. And is there a gender divide with this? Are women better at it than men, or have you seen this through your work?
No, I don't think so. I
No?
don't think
Okay.
it's gender divide. I think everyone is many times having sex quietly. And it's kind of, and when there's quietness, I just hear the creaking of the bodies. It's like, "Wee, wee," and it's kind of like makes it a little bit boring.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so in your work, you have this concept of core desires. Can we talk about that for a second? What are they, and how do they work?
Yeah, so core desires is, we've been like researching sex in our practices for 20 years already. And what we see is that what really matters for people is like what really creates the top experience is when our feelings or what we want to feel in sex is being met. And I think like what we did is really fleshed it out and help people understand what is it that they want to feel during sex, because that's why bother, that's when we want to actually have sex, and that's when we get the most fulfilling sexual experience.
And can you give some examples as to what someone might want to feel?
Yeah, so my core desires are to feel like precious and special, sometimes like adored. And then if I'm feeling very, very well taken care of, then I sometimes want to feel used for someone else's pleasure. So those, that's an example of things that people might want to feel during sex, but it can be anything. It can be like, punished, scared, excited, chased. There's so many different potential feelings that people might want to have.
And I suppose it's really important to have that conversation prior to jumping in the sack and, having this dirty talk, because you want to know what their hot buttons are and their core desires are so you don't get it completely wrong.
Exactly. And I think like, that's why we created a quiz, because actually people don't know exactly what turns them on emotionally. It's not like something that people are talking about the same way people not talking about sex openly. They don't also talk about what they want to feel. And this whole concept is very novel. The idea that what matters actually is what you want to feel. So create this amazing, very nine items, 9 question quiz that helps you get what do you actually want to feel. We did the research and the shortcut for everyone to figure it out so people can
Okay.
talk about it.
Well, that's great, because it's a difficult thing to kind of sit down and think of. It's they're big questions. So how did you break it down? Can you give me an example of some of the questions?
You probably
Yeah.
know the questions better than I do, Dave.
Yeah. So, like part of the stuff that we really realize is a lot of our core desires and the feeling we want to feel is a response to some hurts that we had growing up.
Wow.
Believe it or not, it's amazing like how early our turn-ons get shaped, and we want to keep playing with those things. So the questions are very much focused in trying to figure out what people's core strategies in the world are. Like, what are the ways that they like organize themselves, or who are they in the world, or what are the things that they're searching for in the world. And based on that, we also created this, we help people figure out based on that what are the feelings that they want to feel in the bedroom, because that's where we found the biggest connection
So
between those.
Oh, I was just going to say an example question might be like if you were on your best date ever, what did you feel on that date? Did you feel like you were the most gorgeous person alive and they just only had eyes for you? Did you feel like you just wanted to be, that they figured out exactly what you wanted and gave it to you? So those give us hints into what the deep, the old wounds are and the deepest desires that came out of them.
And then we also have questions that are very direct around sex, like what do you want to feel during sex? And then like give people options, because it's much easier to figure out during options. Do you want to feel very wanted, or do you want to feel a little ignored? People want different things.
And is there rules around that when you're figuring out people's desires?
What do you mean rules?
Is there boundaries or anything like that?
Yeah, I think that's what part of why it's great to have the conversation beforehand. For example, like if I'm in a situation where I'm being dominated a little bit, that's delicate for me. So if somebody tells me what a good, wonderful girl I am, then I feel like happy and excited. But if somebody tells me I'm a naughty little slut, then I feel turned off and shut down. So that would be a boundary for me. Other people love being a naughty little slut. So it's really individual, and it's like we don't want to like judge anyone, but we also want to get particular and precise for the person that we're with. So you don't end up being like, ew, I want to get out of here,
And it's very individual, because you could be good at talking dirty to one person, but then it can be a complete turn off to another person. So having that, I love this, because you're just opening up that conversation and opening up that communication line to better sex, right?
Totally. And you know what I love the most is when couples or people just dating each other take the quiz together, and then they
Yeah.
actually go and learn about each other and how they talk with each other. That like we just met a couple people yesterday and just like, oh my God, we like been married for 30 years, and this like blew our mind that we were able to like compare the notes and learn so many new things about each other. So
And does it
really
take
cool.
time? Does it take time? Because it sounds like it's a real process to get right. You take the quiz, and then you're kind of feeling out different scenarios, and language is very important. And without sounding like a bad porn star, and without it sounding too scripted, you need to find your flow, right?
And also like tone. I think one of the things when I work with people around dirty talk, one thing that I have them do is just come up and like whisper in my ear. Because sometimes it's like more embarrassing to look in somebody's eyes and say like, oh my God, you turn me on so much. But if you're whispering in my ear, like I want you so bad, or even just like saying my name or something like that. If they don't have to look right at me and they're just practicing with that more, the whispering kind of creates more intensity and sensation in the body. So that's one way that you can practice.
And we're not just talking about in the throes, right? There's also during the day when he's at work and you send a text or you send a voice note. There's All that dirty
Exactly.
talk. There's so much room for it.
It is. There is so much room for it. And again, like when you get it more precise, like for me, for example, telling me that I'm right will totally do it for me.
Me too. Funny that.
Right? I
Yeah.
got yeah. I was like, you're right. And I was like, oh my God, why am I feeling so turned on? It's you
I
know,
suppose
so
a lot of it is just getting rid of the embarrassment of it and, just putting yourself out there. Is that the biggest problem is that the biggest obstacle, not problem, but the biggest obstacle people have is just getting rid of their inhibitions initially?
Yeah, they feel embarrassed or they
Yeah.
feel yeah, or it sounds like weird to say it, or yeah, it's like cringy or something like that. It
well,
sounds cheesy sometimes when people first start saying it because it's like, ooh, I don't talk like that, you know?
And how do we navigate that? How do we navigate those no-go zones? Those words or sentences that your partner might say that you get the ick, and how do we tell them to never say that ever again? Because that can be quite
yeah.
embarrassing for them.
I know it's kind of intense actually, because if you don't hit the right sentence, it can feel kind of icky inside. If someone
Yeah.
tells you that you're a slut, but you don't want to hear it ever,
Yeah.
it will be like, ouch, why did you say that? So I think like knowing that it's a learning curve there, and like saying very gently back, we call it like, offering a boundary lovingly, like, hey, sweetie, that didn't really work for me. Can you try to say that I'm a good girl? Or can you try to tell me that I'm gorgeous or something else? And then like really helping this like banter between people can really like going back and forth can really help shape what is it. And also if you think about it, where do we learn how to talk dirty? Like in porn, and there's like it's so minimal, it's so same
Yeah.
line again and again. So like we need way more creativity.
I also like to start with an appreciation. Like, it means so much to me that you're willing to talk like this to me and practice with me. And, I would love it if you would say this instead of that, right? I think that because it is really brave. Like, like if somebody comes up to me in the street and they ask me for my number, I say, oh my God, that's the hardest thing to do. Thank you so much. But no, I'm not in the market, right? So it's like, thank you so much for trying to talk to me in this sexy way. It's such a turn on for me. Do you think you could say, this word instead of that word? I think that's a really nice way to redirect someone.
It must really help people to stay in the moment. We talk a lot on this podcast about the problems women especially have of being present, of feeling present in any experience, bloody doing the dishes, walking down the road, having sex. So this is a great tool to help people be present because you're verbalizing what's happening in the moment as it happens or whatever. So do you find that it helps people with that?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Because, my brain is very wandering brain and I always think about different things. So for me, this helps me anchor in the experience really well and feel connected. That's why I need to really rely intensely on the conversation between us. And I'm not talking about like, let's talk about, the garbage. I want to talk sexy in the bedroom. And
Yeah.
it's almost like going along with the plot, like creating a plot together, but also creating a conversation that really helps me stay focused.
And for me, I feel like if somebody doesn't talk at all, I really want to feel special. And sometimes if somebody's not talking to me at all, I feel like they're just like having sex with my body, but like not with me. Whereas if they say things about me or how good it feels, there's something that creates like that circuit of connection for me that really makes me feel, like, yeah, like adored and cared for
It
and
totally makes sense.
connected. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes complete sense. And for someone who's a total beginner and maybe just feeling really self conscious, what's the easiest entry point into this?
Yeah, honestly, like what Celeste said now is very feels to me like I think when people think about dirty talk, they think about like the extreme dirty talk, but they forget that there's like so many sweet things that they can say or even hot things that they can say. For me, sweet not gonna work again. I need like probably more like the you're right style of conversation than like but like really commenting on what you experience in the moment. For example, I really like your scent, or I really like the way your skin feels, or really like like touching you, like things like that can be just more like whatever you are actually feeling in the moment, practicing speaking it out. That's the beginning of what we call dirty talk or connected talk for that matter.
Appreciation, you mentioned it. That's a really good way to remember an entry point because it's complimentary. You're feeling connected. You're verbalizing it. Yeah, that makes complete sense. And for someone who's worried about running out of things to say, are there go-to phrases that you teach people, or is there things that people can say that would help them with that block, so to speak?
Yeah, I think we bring it we separate it into a few different types. So you
Okay.
can learn how to have like romantic, like, oh, you smell so good, or I could just look in your eyes forever. You're so beautiful to me. You mean so much to me. Or like passionate, like I want to eat you alive. Oh my God, you're so tight. I can't wait to be inside of you. Much more like feeling the sensation of it. And then there's kind of like dominance and submission, like, get on your knees, or I want you to do exactly what I tell you to do. So there's different kind of themes. And if you learn some of those themes and you see which ones are most comfortable for you, then you kind of get your style of dirty talk.
And do people upgrade themselves? Do you find if couples come in and they start off with the, the nice stuff, down the road, they're into the dominant talk and all that kind of stuff? Does that happen?
Yeah, many times people move between those styles because, at the beginning of seduction, you need something different many times than what you ready for when you're like in the heights of turn on and pleasure. So it's good to have the variety and be able to kind of escalate between those different styles.
And how much of this is about the build up throughout the day versus the actual act? We touched on that before, but would you include texting and all that kind of stuff into the build up of having a good sexual experience?
Yeah, we call it keeping your pilot light on.
Oh, go
And
on.
yeah, right. And we can do it for ourselves, but it really helps if somebody helps us,
Yeah.
If like somebody says something sweet and sexy to you during the day, then it's like, oh my, there we go. I'm lit up again. And it kind of like then once you get to the bedroom, you aren't just like, you've got nothing left. You're like, oh, I've got a little sparkle already. And now I'm ready to go.
Yeah, and I really think that in text it also has build up. So don't jump straight, you know,
Straight
into
in.
chicks.
Oh, yeah.
People not recommended. No, right away. Maybe later if that's something that you both want to do, but definitely start in this. It has a seduction curve as well. Like, so just to remember that is important.
I suppose checking in with yourself, you said earlier, is very important and what you like and, asking yourself those questions. So, is it predominantly couples that come to you guys for help?
No, we have singles. We have, yeah, sometimes people who are wanting to be better at dating or be
Yeah.
better lovers or just feel more empowered in their dating life. So it can be couples or individuals.
My biggest fear would be if somebody laughed.
Mm.
Like that would be kind of heartbreaking if you're in the throes and you say something you think in your head is really sexy and you're met with, laughter.
Here's the
How
thing
would
for
one deal with that?
Yeah, no, it's to remember when somebody laughs, it's like it might just be that they're not used to it and they feel nervous when you say it. It might not be that they're like judging you or ridiculing you, but more just like, oh my God, it's like a lot to take in those words. And so they might just like be trying to discharge a little bit by laughing. So I would try not to take it personally and just, check in like, hey, do you like it when I bring in sexy talk? It made you giggle a little bit. Be playful around it if there's laughter instead of saying, oh, this means they don't want it and giving up.
Yeah, and also like I know when I laugh, and many times I do, it's laughter from pleasure and not laughter from, I'm not laughing at them. It's really like again, like a delight and pleasure. So if someone laughs, you can check are their cheeks flashed, are their skin flashed, because they might be actually aroused as opposed to laughing at you. You
Yeah, like
know?
is the laughing coming all the way from their pelvic floor? Then that's a good sign. Danielle has the sexiest laughgasm ever.
Oh, really? Oh, tell us.
I just like when I'm really turned on and I'm like really enjoying myself. There's a lot of laughter before, during, and after.
Oh,
So,
that's
and I need to
amazing.
prepare people for that because there's like, what's happening? I was like, no, no, that's a good sign.
Yeah, that is amazing. That is amazing. So it's all making complete sense. I mean, before I was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be everybody's cup of tea, but it's really just opening up the communication lines, isn't it, for a better sexual experience? And of course, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
I'm wondering if there's some sentence that would really work for you. Do you
Oh,
have any?
I always joke that I love if my husband is like emptying the dishwasher.
Oh my God, darling, you and me together.
Oh,
Or he's
I've
like,
never heard
So
anyone.
hot.
I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna take that washing out of the washing
Oof.
machine, and you're gonna
Did you
do
see how you
nothing.
said it though? Did you notice the arousal?
Let's talk about that. Because I suspect the way, it's not just what you say, it's the way you say things is important, right?
Exactly. Just the way you said it, I got so turned on. It was like, oh my God, yes, not from just because you were like embodying the arousal in your body. Oof, this is so good.
I can
Thank
do
you.
this. This is easy. This is.
No,
You just did it.
you did it. Like if you said almost anything in that tone of voice, it'd be like, okay, whatever she
I
says, I'll
think
do.
the Irish accent does it for these ladies. I have a feeling. You need to get on to Quinn. We just spoke to a guy, an Irish guy, who does audio erotica.
Oh
Oof.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was, yeah, the Devil of Dublin. Interesting stuff. And that has blown up. Millions of, a lot of women especially, are listening to this stuff. Um, and getting away from mainstream porn because it's more intimate and it's all about the voice and it's all about the build up and it's very similar to dirty talk.
It
Hmm.
is. If you think again, like just you said, the devil of Dublin, the way you said it, I was like, yeah, I'll get
Check
it.
them out.
But also, if you think about it, like making sounds while having sex is also a little bit of a dirty talk. It's not just about the words, it's also about like expressing enjoyment and creating this cycle of arousal between people while they're having sex. So, again, it lubricates the experience.
Yeah. So you have to understand, us Irish people are very, well, we have been repressed for so long. We have this Catholic guilt, we have shame. We basically, what we were taught in school was what a penis is, what a vagina is, no other chat. That was it. We never talked about pleasure. I mean, it was illegal to be gay in this country until the 90s. So there's a lot of us to unpack. Now, we are getting a lot better. So we're like baby steps. We're baby steps at the moment, but we are getting a lot better. So for your typical Irish person in between 30 and 40 years of age, who's lived that, give us your top tips on how to get into this world.
I think the first thing that you want to do is kind of focus on your own enjoyment. So, like if you're thinking, okay, I'm touching somebody's body or I'm kissing somebody, just feel like what feels good about it. And very simply, you can say that, like your skin feels so soft, or I love grabbing you. So the more embodied and in the experience, and then words can come because it's literally just describing what's happening and how it feels. So I think that's a really good, simple place to start. You don't have to get all into fantasies or anything like that. Just like, you feel so good, you smell so good. Even I tell people, say the person's name in their ear. Like anything like that can just be a simple, start the verbal connection.
That's a really good tip. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a real ear opener, I'm going to say, not eye opener. You're an absolute joy. I wish you the very best of luck. And what is next for you too?
So we have the quiz, as we said. You can find us in somatica.com/quiz. We really hope the world's going to start using it because it actually goes really, really deep and helps people really figure out both what turns them on in the bedroom and outside of the bedroom in terms of like what can be nurturing things that they can be kind of like experiencing day to day, not just in the bedroom. So it's in the sheets and in the streets. And then, we're also on Virgin Island if you haven't seen that yet.
Okay. Well, listen, I can't wait to do this quiz with my husband later on. So thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Oh, thank you so much for
Thank
having
you so much.